I love Legend of Zelda. I've played every game thus far, even the SATIRE games. I love the game so much that I even named my child Zelda. As to avoid having my child being copyright striked by Nintendo, I went to the store to buy the new Breath of the Wild game. They were selling it for 50 cents a copy. I thought that odd as the game had just recently come out. I decided not question the circumstances and proceeded to buy 200 copies. I love Legend of Zelda. Before I knew it, I was playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The experience was incredible as I traveled throughout the game for a good solid 3 hours before realizing that I had not saved. While it had an autosave feature, I felt it necessary to save manually just in case the game would betray me. I saved. Unfortunately, doing so made the game crash. I was infuriated. The game was now defunct as it no longer booted up. It was dead. Thankfully I had 199 more copies. Yet as I loaded up the second game, I had realized why the games were so very cheap. Each cartridge had its own unique problem. The second cartridge I tried started fine, but had no sound at all, save for an audio clip that would play at random intervals of a man seductively stating how much he loved the smell of his own flatulence.
I love the smell of my own fart.
Followed by the sound of a fart. I would have found this fascinating if I did not feel so very despondent. One by one, I found them all to be uniquely unplayable in some odd way. I found one copy of the game that replaced every single sound in the game, a dog's bark. Amusingly, they were all different dogs for different sounds. The footsteps were small chihuahua barks, while explosions were replaced with the barks of a Rottweiler. There was another copy of the game that did the same thing, only this time it was clearly a man imitating a dog's bark. Another copy just had Link sitting down on a hill, looking at the camera with a sort of contempt in his eyes. I could not move him, and every time I tried he would just say no defiantly. I even found a quintuple set of games that allowed me to play late into the game but for only 5 minutes at a time. After that the cartridge would implode. This continued on as I hoped there'd be a normal copy of the game somewhere in the midst of this oddity. There was not. I made a list of all 200 oddities, and I'll be leaving that in the description below. In the end, none of them were normal in the slightest way possible, and 9 of them ended up exploding after use, while 4 others spontaneously combusted with no warning at all. I didn't even get to play them. I was now furious as I did not know what to do with my 187 Breath of the Wild copies. I was thinking of throwing them all out, however I was reading the cartridge's warning labels carefully, and it turns out that they explode once they feel left behind. I found that oddly tragic. I had to find a way to get rid of them without causing them to explode. I feared that having that many copies of a game explode will end up in my house's destruction. This was when I stuffed them all in a bag and gave them to my local garbage man. Unfortunately, due to city laws, he can only take 5 copies of Breath of the Wild at a time. I bargained for him to take 20 instead. He declined. I asked if 10 was reasonable. He refused. Then I questioned if he had a son. He did not, but his friend did, so I gave him 5 copies of the game to throw away, whilst handing him 2 extras for both his friend and child. He accepted. Now I was left with 180 copies of Breath of the Wild, and the smell of burning cartridges all over my house. I was desperate. If the cartridges exploded when felt abandoned, then I pondered if there was a way to make them think otherwise. I went to my bathroom and tried flushing them away. I tried only 20 copies of the game at a time as to avoid suspicion. It worked for a moment, but as soon as I was about to flush, "What are you doing?" I responded, "This here lever will turn this pool into a jacuzzi." The 20 copies laughed simultaneously, and one cartridge said, "We are not dumb. We know that's in a simulation device. We will now explode." I was incredibly angry at the outcome, yet relieved to get rid of at least 20 copies. Now I was left with 160 copies of the game, the smell of burning cartridges still lingering at my abode, and now the smell of urine and fecal matter haunting the hallway where my bathroom once was. Now there is only a crater where my toilet used to be. A good night's rest, alongside the smell of burning cartridges and phantom urine odor, led me to concoct a brilliant plan. I decided to send 10 copies of the game to 16 of my friends. In order to trick the cartridges into not exploding, I decided to pack them up back in their boxes so they could not see anything. In hindsight, This would have worked with disposing, but I had already packed over 80 copies, so I continued. When my friends received the games, they did not know how to react or what to do with the games as they did not own a Switch nor a Wii U. I felt they were ungrateful. So I called them all one by one and told them to throw all 10 copies of the game away in the trash. They all exploded. I love Legend of Zelda, but this experience made me hate Breath of the Wild. Though I did wish I had more time with the games, so I decided to keep the defunct one that replaced every single sound with a dog's bark. I just dealt with it and eventually got over the sound. Unfortunately, the side effect of playing a game that only has barking in it led to me losing the ability to speak English. I now only bark. I love Legend of Zelda.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this trolly ass stupid shit. This is like the hardest I've ever worked on a video, and it's just a shit post, and that's kinda dumb. If you like this, make sure to like. If you liked it even harder, subscribe. Why do I keep saying that? And if you want to be informed about my videos, or like you want to follow me on Twitter, just follow me on Twitter. How about that? Twitter's a great place where I can communicate with you guys, and I can inform you about things that are happening. Like, for example, this is the only video I'm going to make for the week, except for the weekly update video. So, yeah, you should follow me on Twitter, because that's kind of important. Also, if you're unaware, I'm trying to raise money for a book that I'm trying to sell called Sam Died Today. You can find more info on that in the description below. And, yeah. Alright, but other than that, I hope you liked it. I didn't like working on it, but whatever. I'll see you all on Friday when I make another video. I love y'all. Bye.